Jason. I'm Bonnie. Good to meet you. How are you today?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Last time we were supposed to talk, you had alarms going off in your hotel room. So everything good today?
I'm in a different hotel room in a different city, and so far so good.
So far, so good. Awesome. It's happened to me before in interviews, I'll tell you. But anyway, congratulations on this. I'm going to start off by telling you I get major anxiety whenever a car is involved in a film. Like, I don't care if somebody's driving on the road and they're not looking at I get so much anxiety from it. Do you get anxiety from anything that has to do with a car? Like when you're watching and on the screen or anything like that? Does it freak you out at all?
It probably does. I mean, I realize not to get too personal, but
Yeah.
my dad was in a serious car accident when I was 12 years
Oh,
old, and so I think like part of my interest in Russell's story probably relates to that because it was it's very fragile time of life being 12 years
yeah.
old when that happened. So yeah, I think I have some of those anxieties, I would say.
Yeah, so aside, well, sorry to hear about that. My goodness, because I know I've been in some close calls myself, and I think that's probably why it was hard for me to watch this too, because you just go back to things that you can relate to. But what did you see? Because this is a collection of stories, and this is one that you pulled out. What was it aside from that, like getting a little personal, without getting a little personal? What kind of thought, this is going to make a great film?
Well, it's a high concept that I thought could lend itself well to a feature film. And I always like to make movies that are about something that have something going on underneath the surface narrative.
Yeah,
And this felt like obsession and it just, narcissism. It felt like this was a great sort of high concept, which has genre components, but I could also sort of explore some deeper character
yeah,
aspects.
yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about Josh, the main character. Ben Foster is so good at this role. Like honestly, watching this character just spiral, like oh my goodness, from beginning to end. Did you always have Ben in mind, or how did the casting come about to get him on board?
Ben was always on our list. So because the way our financing worked, we needed to have a lead actor with a certain market value to get money from the market to fulfill our budget. And Ben was always on our list of actors. But I didn't think, and I learned something in this process. I didn't think based on work that Ben had previously done that this would be a project that would speak to him. It turned out
Hmm.
that this character was a character that he really related to in many ways. And it was also he also wanted to do something a little bit comedic. And this is not a although not
No.
a comedy, it has some sort of deadpan, dark comedy to it. And he brings in a physicality which at times I think is a bit funny. He loves Buster Keaton and
Yeah.
he loves one of his favorite films is The King of Comedy, and so he wanted the opportunity to do something a bit more comedic. And although, yeah, definitely not a
Yeah.
straight ahead comedy.
What was the collaboration like with him? Once, you give an actor a script, you would hope there would be some kind of, as you say, he wanted to tackle this. But this is a hard character, this is a hard guy to from where he starts off to where he goes. And he has his character, Josh, has good intentions, but then it spirals into something not so healthy. So can you talk about the development of that and how that kind of, impacted Ben maybe, or just watching him and what he goes through. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah. Well, I think with Ben, we both like to talk uh, like around the situation. We're not like it's not too sort of it's not micromanaging.
Mhm.
We like to ask questions, and I think that was always this kind of man, these kinds of feelings that are coming up for him. And we just wanted to explore it. And he's not afraid to put himself out there in a way. He's not trying to protect an image of himself. He's
Yeah.
willing to go there. And it's a provocative character, and Ben's willing to take it, to be brave and to take it the distance. And so it was a wonderful collaboration.
Yeah.
I think we gave each other space, but also were focused on trying to find what this movie was and what this character was, and
Mhm.
to try to shape it in a way that was successful.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the set? Like building, you have this house. Obviously, you need this sharp corner. You need a corner that, this houses are, the cars are going to crash into. Can you talk about like just building that? Because I'm sure it wasn't easy to try and find the exact location that you needed to find this house, especially with this, this sharp turn and all that. So how
Yeah.
did that develop?
It took years. I mean,
Wow.
even from the beginning when I was writing, I would often like drive to different spots in Nova Scotia, and I'd always be on the lookout for houses at sharp corners. Like, oh, that's an interesting one. But it's not remote enough, and
Right.
it's too busy of a road, so we would never be able to shut that road down and control it the way we need to control it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so in and around the pandemic, myself and one of the producers and Jennifer Stewart, our production designer, we went on a scout in Nova Scotia, and we were looking at for various locations. And we realized it was going to be a hard location to find. And so we decided to find the perfect corner and try to acquire the land,
Yeah.
build the house on that corner. And we were fortunate. My favorite corner, the land adjacent to it was owned by the province of Nova Scotia, and we were able to lease that land for $150
Amazing.
for a year.
Yeah.
I know. And we built an onset, like
Yeah.
a set on location, basically, where it could work inside and outside and give us all the flexibility that, and more flexibility than a house, a pre-existing house, because we
Sure.
could design it to fly out walls, and it was wired with film wiring and lighting. So it was incredible. It was a great opportunity and a fun time. It
Yeah. And how challenging was it to shoot those scenes, with the cars and like I say, I always get so jittery around cars. What was it like to shoot something like that?
was difficult logistically. There was this big scene in the middle of the film where the car's on fire, and there's a lot of extras, and you just have to coordinate.
Yeah.
We shot that over 2.5 days, and yeah, it's just tricky. It's tricky stuff. You have a lot of different angles to cover, and you have to make sure that there's just so many variables that uh, you know something can go wrong, and you got to start over again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun though.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, it looked good. I have to tell you that. That is for sure. I want to talk to you about Kobe Smulders, who we love. She's always so wonderful in whatever she does, and she's so versatile. People don't know like that she can do so much, comedy, drama, whatever. Like she's amazing. Can you talk a little bit about casting her as Rachel? About kind of the yin and yang to Josh, but yet like she's a therapist, and there's just so much going on with her character and how it impacts the family. Yet she just adds so much to this film. You really truly feel for her as a wife, as a mother. It's astounding.
Yeah, well, we needed somebody strong. We needed somebody that is going to stand up to Josh, the
Yeah,
character played by Ben, in a way that feels authentic to that person. You didn't It was important that she doesn't feel like because she doesn't have any standalone scenes, so it's hard to really get inside of her point of view. And so it needed an actor that you you believed that their intentions were in the right place. And Kobe being very much a mother bear type person. She has two
yeah,
kids, and
yeah.
she's an assertive person, and it was a really good fit. And we're very fortunate that we got her.
Mm.
We had attached Ben, and said, well, we'll try for Kobe, and we'll see what happens. And she was available, and she was into it. So But yeah, and it's important. It was important for me that as a therapist, she's not she doesn't want to be her husband's therapist. She
Of
wants her
course.
husband to take responsibility. And so and at a certain point, she starts to question whether or not he's going to get there or not.
Yeah, yeah, it's so fascinating. It's such a great character study, like oh, before I get to this question, when you put two actors together too who've never worked together, obviously you never know, like, is it going to jive? Are they going to work together? But to me, I don't know, it felt very real. Like, did they connect quite instantly, the two of them, when once you started to shoot?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they showed up when the weekend before we started shooting, which unfortunately is often the way with films.
Sure.
But when you get there and you realize, well, the actors are actually willing to have a bit of rehearsal time. But putting movies together, I think people feel like the windows are small and maybe we don't have enough time to get the actors there earlier. I think sometimes if you ask the questions, you can get actors there sooner than the assumption.
Mm,
But we only had a couple days to work together, but they immediately bonded and started working on the characters together. And yeah, I think it worked. I mean, it feels to me like this is a couple that maybe worked 15 years ago and now they're maybe at a juncture point in their relationship where one person's not growing at the rate that the other person is growing. And
yeah.
so that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. Can things change? There's no question. Well, at the end of the day, after you finish shooting this and you're so engrossed in this material from reading it from the story and then shooting it and all that, what does it make you think about people who have obsessions or addictions or whatever? Like, did it make you kind of think at the end of everything, or change your opinion or make you think about how people can get so obsessed with one thing, it was fascinating to me.
Yeah. My way into it was my obsessions as a writer, chasing perfection. And
Yeah,
so I had that sort of way in, and that was for me a chance to explore that obsession through this character and this particular obsession that he has. And as I was writing it and as we were making it, and now seeing the end film, it does really feel like an addiction. It feels like the character just in the grasps of this thing that they can't get control of. And yeah, that's that's sort of what I was aiming for, but then it just sort of resonates that much more strongly when I see what Ben did with the character.
yeah, yeah. He's just riveting to watch. You've done a wonderful job with this film.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for your time today.
You're
And
welcome.
I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you, Jason.
You
Appreciate
too.
it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
take care.
Okay,
Okay,
take care.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.